All right, we are back with another Pick'em video. It is Friday, January 17th. We have a 9-game slate in the NBA, so definitely going to be some spots to attack certain guys that might be able to exploit some defensive schemes, maybe guys that might get slowed down by some defenses, by the way they play, maybe guys in rebounding spots, three-pointers, whatever it might be. The next few hours here, I'm going to be sitting on the laptop and really diving into that stuff, and you don't have to see all that. I'm going to edit it, and you guys are going to just see the plays and the breakdowns. So if that sounds interesting, hopefully you guys stick around. If you're new around here, definitely go ahead and subscribe. Leave the video a like, comment something down below. And as I'm making this video, I'm watching the Sacramento and Houston game. It's a good game overall, but we're also sweating our 6-man over here. Got one leg yesterday in our 6-man over on PrizePicks. I don't just do PrizePicks stuff. This is for straight bettors. Any sort of bettor can get value from this video, but I thought I'd point this out because hopefully at some point in this video, Fox is either going to come through for us or come up short. I guess I'll just point out the fact that, yeah, our PrizePicks slips have been really, really good lately. Going into the RichClub recap, not that one. Right here, this is the one we're sweating out. This was the one yesterday, which was unfortunate. Patrick Williams did nothing. And then this was the one from 2 days ago where Russell Westbrook just came up short in that first half. But our reads have been there, have been really good. And yeah, just wanted to let you guys know that I am sweating that out if I seem tense. And then before we jump into the recap, I did have to just stop and watch into this game. This game's awesome right now, but Fox did just clutch us up, so obviously celebrating in the Discord. A nice 25x, that's a plus 2,400 play. I am a parlay type bettor at heart. Again, if you're new around here, I came from a state that only allowed parlay betting. I used to only do PrizePicks videos. Obviously, I have all these different platforms. I bet on PrizePicks, Underdog, Betr, Sleeper, Dabble, Flip, Parlay Play, and Chalkboard. Any of those codes, if you want to use those, that's how you get in here for a free month. But he just cashes out. We're obviously celebrating in here, and yeah, super, super fun night. So the reads from yesterday's video weren't amazing. We're going to break that down and go over the recap. Then we're going to talk about some injury news for tomorrow. I don't want you guys betting on players that lines might look really good, and then you realize there's some sort of injury news or they're on a back-to-back set. We also talk about back-to-back sets real quick, and then we'll get into plays for today. But obviously celebrating this win, that's huge. And then this is as good a time as any to reiterate the fact, again, all those links are in the description down below. They all have different codes. When you use my code when signing up or my link, it just gives me a little bit kickback my way. It's a great way to support the channel, and I give it back to you guys in the form of a free month. If you're interested in that, let me know in the comments down below. Say, hey, use your code or join the free part of the Discord. Get in touch with me there. And I love giving out free months. This community continues to grow, and yeah, we've been on fire in January. All right, so going over the video picks from yesterday, it was a 1 and 2 type of day. It was a 5-game slate. We knew it wasn't going to be the best slate in the world, and the game of the night ended up being the worst game of the night. Let's go over the picks, though. Malik Beasley over 16.5 points. If you didn't watch the game at all and you just looked at the box score, he ended with 3 points. He did shoot 1 of 9 and 1 of 7 from 3, so actually just double-checked, 1 of 10 from the field, 1 of 8 from 3. If he's not going to knock down his shots, he's not going to come anywhere close to that. He got the looks, it just didn't convert. And then everything I said about Malik Beasley, the spot-up shooting against Indiana Pacers, was spot on for Tim Hardaway Jr., who started the game off with the first 12 points of the game. I probably should have hedged myself and looked at the other spot-up shooter on this team because we knew Indiana's weak spot was there. Malik Beasley just couldn't shoot the ball tonight, and Tim Hardaway Jr. absolutely crushed his line. So my bad not mentioning him even in the video. I don't even think I mentioned him. But again, good read for spot-up shooters. Bad luck for Malik Beasley. Evan Mobley over 21.5 points and assists. This did get bumped up to 22.5 throughout the day, and he didn't come close because they lost by 30. They got embarrassed in OKC. And yeah, it was a crapshoot. I went to the store before the game, got some food ready to watch. By the time I got back at the end of the first quarter, it was already pretty much a blowout. Mobley didn't come close to this line either, but again, blowouts happen in the NBA. You can make the best read in the world, and if they lose by 30 and get nothing going, they're not going to be able to do much there. The good thing is Tyus Jones came through for us over his 5.5 assists in the first half. He ended up with 10 assists against his former team. The read was there for that one, so we'll pat ourselves on the back for that one, but not celebrating a 1 and 3 day at all. It was just an unfortunate night. And again, 5-game slate, not the best in the world. These things can happen, and we did have some great reads other times. I do breakdowns of the video picks for sure. I usually add a couple more and do breakdowns of those, and then of course all the research I'm doing for any of my plays on like an underdog play or slip or a PrizePicks slip for that matter, they all have the same sort of research. I just don't always do the full breakdown of them, as you can see for these guys. But yeah, Jalen Green was another one I kind of just threw in here because I did really like him. He crushed his line, and then Cade Cunningham was another one I really liked for the day. Miles Turner. I didn't add into this, but he was a good read for today. But Cade ended up coming up just short. He had 9 assists. That was a plus money play over his 9.5 or his double-double, which was really favored. And I wanted to sprinkle in a little bit on his triple-double, and he came up short there. He had 9 assists. So good reads overall. Just in the video picks, not the best result, but we'll try to do better here. Again, 9-game slate. So let's get after it. And then real quick, talking about the injury news, any sort of lineup news, back-to-backs. The only team on a back-to-back is going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder. They didn't have to play their guys all too much just because of the blowout, so I don't think that will be a problem. But also good to note, Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren both going to be out, so no centers tomorrow for the Thunder. Didn't seem to matter for them this time, but could be a different way to attack them. Orlando Magic are going to be without Goga Bitadze, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs. That's nothing new. We've seen this for the past 4 games or so. Minnesota Timberwolves, Dante DiVincenzo is going to be out, so that could be a big boost for some guys, specifically Mike Conley coming into the starting lineup. New York Knicks, game time decisions is going to be Karl Anthony Towns, so that's definitely something to look into. They are going up against his old team, so I'd expect him to kind of play, but we'll see about Towns. Utah Jazz are going to be without everyone. Lauri Markkanen, John Collins, Jordan Clarkson have been out, but Walker Kessler added to the injury report there as well. So Colin Sexton coming back to the lineup could be an interesting look. New Orleans Pelicans, Dejounte Murray is probable. Brandon Ingram and Herb Jones continue to be out for that team. Charlotte Hornets, Mark Williams is probable. Brandon Miller is probable, so hopefully nothing to worry about for them. Chicago Bulls, game time decisions, Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon, and then Jamal Murray is going to be a probable tag. So hopefully we get Jokic coming back. Aaron Gordon is going to be the guy that's most up in the air for me. I think Jokic will play. Kind of a weird miss last game. He just randomly was ruled out. For the other team, though, Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler is going to be active. He's not on the injury report, so definitely keep that in mind. I know Hero's been going crazy. But just keep in mind Jimmy Butler is supposedly active tomorrow after like a 7-game suspension, but we'll see about that. Toronto Raptors, Emmanuel Quickley is going to be out here. We always look at Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett lines, specifically RJ Barrett's rebounds and assist line went out without Emmanuel Quickley. Milwaukee Bucks, probable tags for Giannis and Chris Middleton. I expect both of them to play. Dallas Mavericks, game time decisions is going to be Kyrie Irving. Not sure what he's going to be doing. He's kind of up in the air, but Luka stays out, and Derek Lively going to remain out with that ankle injury. Memphis Grizzlies, Ja Morant is going to be a game-time decision. He's missed a few games, so definitely keep an eye on him. Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr., always good guys to lean on if Ja does miss tomorrow. San Antonio Spurs, Jeremy Sohan continues to be out for that team, so that's definitely a big boost for some other guys. He gets a lot of minutes on that team. Brooklyn Nets, game-time decisions are going to be Cam Johnson, so that is a big name for that team. Cam Thomas, though, is going to be continuing to be out. And then lastly, the Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James probable, Anthony Davis probable. They're always probable. They'll probably play. And then Dorian Finney-Smith is a doubtful tag, so I don't expect him to suit up. So there's all the injury news. Yes, I do this each and every video because there's always a lot of them. There's not a whole lot that we don't know tomorrow. You know, Jimmy Butler is kind of a question mark. I don't know about Jokic. I assume he's going to play. But more of the game time decisions are the ones that are more scary. And of course, the guys that are out, you have to game plan for that. All right, so moving into our first play of the video, it's going to be Jason Tatum from my Boston Celtics, who have been struggling, but say what you want about Tatum, he's having an incredible year. Now he gets the Orlando Magic, which we've seen similar players to him. Giannis plays very well against them. LeBron plays really well against them. We're really going to break that down. But I like him over his 24.5 points. I also like his rebounding. He's very, very good at rebounding when the entire team is healthy. So that's going to be the different types of play. It's either going to be Tatum over 24.5 points or 25 plus points. And I also like his double-double situation here. That's going to be a plus money play for plus 100. So this is going to be the first play. He's over in 65% of games in terms of scoring the ball. The biggest thing is obviously he hasn't been scoring amazing lately during this kind of run where the Celtics kind of win a game, lose a game. They've not been very good the past month and a half. And the Magic are a gritty team. You see, they don't allow a whole bunch of points. But why do I like this? Let's start breaking it down into terms of the team that's playing, that they're playing defensively in terms of the scheme, but also the teams that are the guys that are playing for the Celtics tomorrow. Derek White's going to be in the lineup. Jaylen Brown's going to be in the lineup, and Porzingis are going to be in the lineup. That's going to be big for a guy like Jason Tatum. You might think, oh, that's less scoring for him to go around. He actually plays really, really well off these guys. Over in 7 of 11 games when everyone is active. That's going to be one of the main reasons I go to this. The other thing is going to be the rebounding. We're not done with points yet, but rebounding, I want to point that out. He's been really, really good rebounding with everyone in the lineup. Obviously, over the 9.5. Again, I like the double-double. You could do 9.5 rebounds too at plus 110, I guess. Maybe you could do that too. I like both situations here. Tatum's just a good read overall. But yeah, with everyone active, let's go back here. Derek White, go to Jaylen Brown, and let's go to Porzingis. All these guys active. He's over in 10 of 11 games, so that would be a double-double in all of these games. But yeah, really, really liking Tatum in this situation. Now, the main thing, I just did my little blurb over here, is that he is going against a defense that, again, doesn't allow a whole bunch of scoring, but they do allow there's a bunch of holes and weaknesses in terms of how Tatum scores the ball. His main scoring, 58% of his scoring comes from isolation, which Orlando ranks 25th defensively, pick and roll ball handling, which Orlando ranks 24th defensively, and free throws, which Orlando ranks 22nd defensively. It's also a big note that Goga Batadze, the big man down there, he's not going to be playing, and Jalen Suggs is a really good defensive player. He'll be out of this one. Similar players, like I mentioned, guys like Giannis, LeBron, Scottie Barnes, Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton have all cleared their lines. So again, they're not scoring 25 plus points. Whatever their lines are, they are clearing those, and they've had good games. And also rebounding. We've seen guys like Josh Hart, Giannis, Scottie Barnes, Oscar Thompson, and Luka also clear their lines in terms of rebounding. So really, really like this spot for Tatum. They're at home. They're coming off a loss. The league's starting to talk about them in a negative view. They're kind of getting into that championship January drought, I guess I'll call it. I'm optimistic as a Celtics fans. We know once playoff comes, it might be a totally different situation, but Tatum might put his head down and really score the ball today in front of their home crowd. They need a big win. They are big favorites in this one. But yeah, his scoring potential against this defense, it plays right into Tatum's hands. So add in the rebounding, which he's done really, really well. And yeah, really liking this play. Moving along to the next play here, it's going to be Dejounte Murray over 15.5 points. If it sounds familiar, it's because it is. We went to this the other day, and he did come up on the hook. But I think Dejounte's finally shaken off the rust for this year. He's got a great matchup and a horrible defense. The Utah Jazz ranked 29th in terms of defensive efficiency, and you can see his numbers are finally starting to trickle up. For the entire season, he's averaging a field goal percentage of 39%. That is totally out of the ordinary for a guy like Dejounte Murray. He's very consistently been a 45, 46 even percent field goal guy, and he just started off the season really, really poorly. But the last 10 games, it starts to look a whole lot better. That shooting percentage, even including these games, is starting to creep up 43% over the last 10 games here. So that's much closer to his normal 45% as a career guy. And that's, I think, what we're going to start seeing in terms of the norm as they get a little bit healthier with Zion in the lineup and things like that, who he plays really, really well off of. So great matchup here for a guy like Dejounte Murray. It's a great matchup for a lot of guys. I was looking at Zion. His points line's already up at 24.5. That's just a little bit too steep to me. Trey Murphy's been insane lately, but Dejounte at 15.5 against the Utah Jazz defense, and he's finally starting to cook it up. I think that's a pretty good look for him. Now, I did look into his points and assist line. That line gets up to 24.5, so I could definitely see him getting 7 or 8 assists tonight, but I'm kind of just liking the points. Just, put his head to the basket and score some points, and again, shoot more than 39%, which he's doing for the entire season. Games he shot at least 38%. He's over in 10 of 12 games, averaging 20.6 points per game. So just got to do that. 38%. That's all I'm asking for. Not asking for anything crazy. If you guys can come in here and have a brick night, I don't think that's going to be happening. He's had enough brick nights for the entire season, and he's starting to finally cook here. Games with Zion Williamson as well. Again, it's kind of similar to Tatum's line, but games with Zion Williamson, you might be like, oh, less scoring for a guy like Dejounte Murray. We haven't seen that. He's played 3 games with Zion. He did hook one of those games. We've got to look at 2024. He did hook one of those games against the Bulls, but then the other 2 games, 29 and 26 points, and that was against Boston and against Minnesota. Much better defense, or much better defenses than this Utah team. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing here for Dejounte Murray. Again, I kind of wanted to get to his assists as well. It's just too steep for me. I wanted to look at Zion because points in the paint is another thing this Jazz team really, really struggles with. That in transition, which I think will be good for a healthier Pelicans team that's definitely been putting up some points lately. But yeah, Zion's was just a little bit too steep for me, and the points and assist line was a little bit too steep for me for Dejounte. So just put the ball in the basket. All we need is 16 points from you. And again, 39% for the entire season, but he's more of a 45% guy. Games he shot at least 38%. For so far this year, he's over in 10 to 12 games. So I'm like Dejounte. I think his line's a little bit too low. 15.5 points. All right, moving into the next play here, it's going to be Nicola Jokic over 21.5 rebounds and assists. I also like his triple-double for plus money. It's up to plus 160 on some books. So if you Bet365 is available for you, plus 160 on Bet365, plus 140, plus 130 on the other places. But yeah, I think that's really, really good value for us. Now, the big thing here is Nicola Jokic is obviously a game-time decision. This one, he didn't play last game, was kind of a surprise to everyone. It's an elbow injury. I don't think it's anything too crazy. And the fact that they lost by 20 points. I think Jokic is going to step back into the lineup and play this game, and he's got a good matchup to get some rebounds and to definitely get some assists. So let's take a look at what he's got going on so far this season. 65% hit rate, he has gone over this. He's been an absolute animal. If we thought he was good last year, he only went over this in 45% of games last year. So I do love to see that. The other thing I want to mention is the fact that I forgot before when I was talking about his injury, he's come back from injury twice now. He's missed like 5 or 6 games, but he's come back from injury twice. In both those games, he triple-doubled when he came back. So I don't think he really misses a beat. Again, I don't think his elbow injury is a big deal. And again, the triple-double is very intriguing to me. But if you're looking for a normal like minus 115, minus 120 play, the 21.5 rebounds and assists is the way to go. So here's the graph. 65% he's gone over this. Some monster numbers, especially recently. I love what I see from him. The last 10 games, he's over this in 7 of 10, averaging 25 rebounds and assists. Again, I specifically looked at this for the assists, but if you look at the rebounds allowed to centers, Miami ranks 29th in that aspect, so I just like the added boost of him getting potentially 22 rebounds by himself. He's just a monster, and he can just rack up rebounds. He can rack up assists in a hurry. I think this line's just a little bit too low, and again, he might not play, but I do expect him to be out there. The head-to-head I showed before, but he went over this in the matchup earlier this season. He didn't go over the last 2 matchups last year, but again, I also showed 2023. He wasn't as dominant in terms of rebounding and assisting last year as he was this year, which is crazy because he was very dominant last year. But yeah, everything kind of pointing in the right direction here for a guy like Jokic, specifically against Miami. Now, I looked at 2 other guys against Miami that have played them this year. I kind of call them it's like an evolution chain. Alperen Sengun and Domantas Sabonis are very similar kind of type of players like Jokic. They're big guys that can score, they can rebound, they can assist all really well. I wrote it down here so that I don't forget. Similar players like Domantas Sabonis, he had 16 and 7 assists against Miami, and Alperen Sengun had 18 rebounds and 6 assists against Miami, both clearing this number at 21.5, and I'm sure their numbers are usually lower. Maybe Sabonis is around the same, but Sengun's is definitely usually lower, and he crushed this against Miami. So the 2 light versions, the 2 earlier evolutions of a guy like Jokic crushed this Miami team in terms of rebounding and assisting, and Jokic already did it himself as well. So really like what I'm seeing for this Jokic line. Again, 21.5 rebounds and assists, or the triple-double at plus 130 on FanDuel and DraftKings. I don't know why I said plus 130. You can get this at plus 160 over on Bet365. So take it the best place you can get the value. It's all about EV and value here, and plus 160 for a triple-double for Jokic. I think that looks really, really good for us today. And then if you made it this far in the video, I do want to remind you to like the video, comment something down below. It always tells YouTube to push this video out a little bit more when you guys do those little things, so I definitely appreciate that. I still have one more play that I want to deep dive into, and then I do have a lean or 2 that I want to mention to you guys before I let you go on your way. I also want to point out my partners of this channel. Outlier is the tool you've been seeing me give up all these different stats. I use this every single day. You can get a free week trial using my link in the description. Again, it lets them know that I sent you there, and you can't really beat a free week. You've also seen me use OddsJam. This is my favorite line shopper. It shows us all these different books that have a plethora of different plays. Whenever I find a play I like, I can go into OddsJam and be like, okay, where do I want to play this? Oh, Bet365 plus 160. That's better value than DraftKings and FanDuel. I'll take it over there. Things like that. So OddsJam, another one that has a free trial. Link in the description down below. I have some other tools in there as well that I use each and every day. I would never promote something that I don't use myself. These tools are crucial for what I do, and they'll definitely help you out if you're someone that likes to research this stuff. Also in the description of this video, you will see codes and links for PrizePicks, Underdog, Betr, Sleeper, Dabble, Flip, Parlay Play, and Chalkboard. Those are all partners of the channel as well. Whenever you use my code when signing up to those, you're going to get a perk of some sort of deposit match or promotion, which is awesome. It's a win situation there for you guys, but also kicks back my way, so I give it right back to you guys in the form of a free month to the Discord community, which again, I showed at the beginning of this thing. It's a whole lot of fun. We're obviously here to win, but even on bad days, we're kind of like making jokes around it. We're just talking sports in here, and the good has outweighed the bad. I just checked. We are up like 65 units in the month, or maybe even 68 units in the month of January. So it has been awesome. It's been pretty consistent month to month basis. We're not going to win every single day. I definitely don't win every single day, but month to month basis, we're usually coming out on top. So I actually just got a screenshot of the Pickett account for, updated to today, plus 68.7 units in the month of January is absolutely crazy sports betting. We don't win every single day, of course. Some of these days we are losing units, especially as a parlay bettor. That is going to happen if you're more of a straight bettor. You're probably more of someone that's not going to lose a whole bunch in certain days, but you're also not going to have these massive days like we had today. I'm definitely making an effort to do more straight bets, again, as I'm in a state now that does allow straight betting. But yeah, parlays are where I usually do my plays. I usually post at least one fun play for all these platforms here. So again, if you're new to any of these or don't have any of these, it's a great way to get in here for a free month. All right, so moving into the last official play of the video, I do have a lean I'm going to talk about, and then I'll get you guys on your way. RJ Barrett over 10.5 rebounds and assists. If it sounds familiar, it is. We went to this the other day against the Celtics, and he absolutely crushed this line. So he's over in 64% of games. He is going up against Milwaukee, and they're ranked 27th in terms of rebounds allowed to the small forward position. So I like that right off the bat. Now, in terms of the assists, Emmanuel Quickley's out of this game. In games without Quickley, he's over this rebounds and assist line in 70% of those games. We see his assist line jump from like 5.7 average to a 6.3 average without Quickley in the lineup, and then you consider the fact that this is a great rebounding matchup for him. I like what I'm seeing here. Now, he's played Milwaukee twice this year. One of those games was an 85-point game that they put up, only 85 points. The other game was a little bit more what I can expect. You know, they might lose by a whole bunch, but he still had 9 rebounds and 5 assists. You can see it's 11.5 point spread in favor of Milwaukee, and even in games they've lost by 11 plus points, 10 plus points, he's still going over this in more than 60% of games, 67% hit rate in games they lost by 10 plus points. You also consider the fact that this is away. I don't know how much this is going to play into it, but he actually goes over this in a decent amount of games in away. 10 of 17 games, so still it might take a little bit of a hit here, but still over it in 59% of those games, so I like to see that as well. And again, the big thing here is no Emmanuel Quickley. In away games without Emmanuel Quickley, 75% of games. So any way you slice this is looking pretty good for a guy like RJ, who seems to be really, really good this year, just consistently guy that you can trust to rebound the ball, can assist the ball. And going into some of my similarities, again, I just did this little write-up here. Milwaukee ranks 23rd rebounds allowed. A strong comparison, the guy that I found that I think plays similarly or rebounds similarly to a guy like RJ Barrett is Keldon Johnson, who grabbed 11 rebounds against the Bucks, and his line was at 4.5, so I love to see that. I'll also add we saw DeMar DeRozan go over his assist line at 3.5. He had 4 against the Bucks, and then Miles Bridges, again, kind of guys similar to RJ Barrett. He had a 2.5 assist line, and he had 6 assists against Milwaukee. Like what I'm seeing from RJ here, 10.5 rebounds and assists, and that's going to be the final official play of the video, but I do have a lean for us. All right, I actually caved here. This is going to be a full play as well, just because as I look farther and farther into it, this Rui Hachimura line over 11.5 points is looking better and better. So this will be a full play, and then I'll briefly just mention 2 leans that I have for you guys. So a ton of different plays in this one. Rui over 11.5 points, 45% hit rate for the entire year. The big thing here is Dorian Finney-Smith getting the doubtful tag. Games without him, 48% hit rate. Obviously, Finney-Smith came over a little bit later on in the year for the D'Angelo Russell trade. So D'Angelo Russell is also not in here. So 3 of 3 games without D'Lo in the lineup, and DFS just gives him more opportunity to shoot and score the ball. 13, 18, and 23, averaging 18 points per game in those 3 games. So right off the bat, I think he's going to get more volume in a situation that DFS and D'Lo might not be in the situation here. Obviously, D'Lo is on the Nets, but Dorian Finney-Smith is a doubtful tag. So if he doesn't play, really liking this hit rate. Then you consider the fact that this is a matchup against Brooklyn, and it goes perfectly with how Rui Hachimura scores the ball. I wrote it out here, but scoring profile for Rui Hachimura, 54% of his points come from spot-up shooting and transition. If you look defensively for Brooklyn, Brooklyn ranks 28th defensively in spot-up shooting, 26th defensively in transition, and then also Rui, 40% of his shots come from the restricted area, with the Nets ranked 24th. So this one's looking better and better as I looked into it. I think this is a shoe-in if Dorian Finney-Smith goes ahead and sits, and I think Rui should have the volume here to get at least 12 points. And then quickly, the 2 leans. I'm not even going to go into the graphs just because it is getting super late. Brook Lopez over his 11.5 points. I think he's in a really good spot. Similar, again, we mentioned him at a video a few days ago. Kind of similar situation. I could definitely see him knocking down some threes, and he's been scoring pretty well. So it's got a good matchup there at 11.5 points. And then D'Lo, kind of mentioned him in the Rui Hachimura breakdown, but D'Lo's playing his old team, the Lakers, the guys that traded him. He was the scapegoat for everything that went wrong in LA. I think D'Lo on the Nets is kind of a different guy. We haven't seen him play much, but when he has been on the floor, he's played pretty well. He's not on the injury report, so there could be some revenge coming for D'Lo. So I haven't looked into his lines, to be totally honest, yet, but he could be showing out tomorrow. And the game's in LA, which just adds to it. All right, so real quick recap of what we talked about in this video. Jason Tatum over 24.5 points, 25 plus points, however you want to say that, or his double-double at plus 100. If you parlay both of these, 25 plus and double-double, it's like a plus 200 play, so that's going to be something you could mess around with. Dejounte Murray over 15.5 points, Nicola Jokic over 21.5 rebounds and assists, a nice plus money play for the triple-double I really like as well. RJ Barrett over 10.5 rebounds and assists, Rui Hachimura over 11.5 points, and then a couple leans I threw down there, Brook Lopez over his 11.5 points, and D'Angelo Russell revenge game. So if you like this video, definitely go ahead and leave it a like. It goes a long way. Comment something down below if you have an extra second of time. And definitely check out the community. The links are in the description down below on how to join. Plenty of different ways to get in for free. And January has been awesome. We're just heating up. I've kind of changed my way that I'm doing content, how I'm doing research, really diving more deep and looking at matchups and things like that, specifically how defenses play their games. And it's been really, really good since starting that 3 profitable days in a row. So I'm going to try to continue this grind, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Good luck with all your bets. Let me know how you guys are doing in the comments down below. Subscribe if you are new. Peace out.